Good morning. Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. Good morning. Hi, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 355, and we're here live in Southwest Florida, watching the sunrise over the buildings and the trees to the east. And this is the Gulf of Mexico behind me. If you're joining me live, please say hello and let me know what you're crafting this morning. Hi, Grace and Lisa, Christy, Judy, Christine. Thank you all for joining me live. Hi, Beatrice and Naomi. Glad you could be here. Good morning, Chris and Sherry. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hi, Nikki. Lisa is working on the Sally vest. Wonderful. Hi, Mar. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Jermaine and Joe, Denisha, Diane, Jill, DJ. So glad all of you could make it to the live today. Good morning, Nancy. Thanks for joining live. So because of daylight savings time coming this weekend, some of you will remember this if you've been joining the podcast for a long time. When the sun comes up during the podcast, changes throughout the year. In the summer, it starts earlier. In the winter, it starts later. And during our two time change, daylight savings time changes, it also affects it. So right now, the sun is up before I start the podcast, but after this weekend, it'll go back to being where it comes up during the podcast again. I hope I said that correctly. I missed a couple of names, sorry about that. Hi, Elena. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Judy and Barbara. Thanks for joining live. So I'm going to do a little demo here in a couple minutes, but I'm going to do a couple of different swatches for the demo. I was going to show you a different, you know how we talked about a couple days ago when I was doing swatches where we changed the yarn but kept the stitch and the hook size the same. Well, today I'm going to change the variable and the controls in another experiment, and this time I'm going to use same stitch, same yarn, but change the hook size so you can see how that affects the look of the stitches as well. So I was going to do a little mini granny square, which is, you know, just 2 rounds of a granny square to make it nice and quick. Lisa, coming along. I'm not sure what you mean. Coming along with what? Maybe I missed the other half. Sherry says I'm blurry. I don't know. Hi, Jane. Thanks for joining live. Hi, Carol. Carol says it's 18. Oh, Sephora. You were allowed to join the, let's see, how does that go? Lisa's asking about the Sephora Squad thing. Yesterday was the last day to leave a testimonial for any of the applicants, so that's closed. They start their process now, and they will announce finalists, I believe, in a couple of weeks, and there might be voting again from there. I'm not sure, but that's all that I know. I don't actually have any other information than that. If I hear something, I'll let you know, though. Brenda's making a simple granny square blanket this week. That's awesome. I have taught many people how to crochet, from teaching them how to make a granny square and just making it just grow and grow. It's a great way to learn how to crochet, I think, especially since you're not having to learn how to work into stitches, you're working into the bigger holes. I find that that's a really easy way to teach people how to crochet. One of the hardest parts, I think, is learning how to recognize what part of the stitch you're supposed to insert your crochet hook. So doing a granny stitch for your first stitch eliminates that component because you're working into the large holes between stitches. But I'm just going to do a couple more of these before I start the demo, so I will just try to read the comments as I'm going. Yes, Brenda, it's a good mindless project too, absolutely. Pamela said it took a couple of teachers for her. Yeah, you know, everybody's learning style is different and everybody's teaching style is different, so not everybody clicks, right? Good morning, Butterfly Kisses. Kimberly's working on her sweet Clara top. Oh wow, that's what I'm wearing today. I'll stand up and show you that as well. I'm wearing the short sleeve version of the Sweet Clara top today in Be So Sporty yarn color. What color is it? Crushed Berries. Almost done with this one. Okay. All right, so first I'll stand up and show you my top. It's such a fun top, and if you've watched my social media posts over the years, you'll know I've worn it in so many different kinds of colors for underlayers, and today I'm wearing a simple black tank top and my black high-waisted super skinny Fashion Nova jeans. I've got my tank top tucked into my pants just to have a nice slim silhouette under the flowy top so nothing gets in the way, and it's only 50 degrees here this morning, so I'm still wearing my jacket, but you see it has these really cute little cap sleeves when it warms up. Really easy layer to wear over just about anything. This also is a great candidate for belting. If you put a belt around here and bloused it up a little bit like that, you can see the lower portion there, the hemline, is really nice and flouncy when you do that as well. Or you could actually cinch it all the way and do a belt tight like that. That's really cute too. There's lots of ways to wear it. And then by changing the colors that you wear underneath it, you can go high contrast with all black silhouette underneath like I'm doing. And I would say this is probably a little more dressier of the options. It's called the Sweet Clara top, Joe. I have pattern, multiple sizes, charts, and video tutorials for it. And it uses Be So Sporty yarn. Really, really easy, fun top-down construction. Really wonderful. It's a really fun top to make. What was I saying? Oh, as far as styling it, I've worn it with white underlayers and pale khaki pants. A much more casual look than all black underneath. You could actually wear it under a dress if you're going to belt it. That's really cute too. Kimberly's at the armholes. Wonderful. So it's a top-down construction. So she started here and she's working down and she's made it to the armholes. Awesome. And if you need any help, the video tutorials are extremely helpful. Helps you if you are not sure how to grasp the concept of separating for arms and body, front and back. The videos might help you a lot. Jill's made the Sweet Clara top too. Wonderful. Called Sweet Clara top, Jermaine. I'll put a link in the video description when I get back to my office this morning. All right, we're gonna move on to another swatch here. Wait till you see the contrast in these. You're gonna love this. Nikki's made 2 Sweet Clara tops. That's awesome. I've made 3. I have made this short sleeve version. I've also made a long sleeve version, and I have made a dress version. The dress version is not published yet, but the short sleeve and long sleeve version are both published. Did I get the lace caught? I didn't catch that either. Sorry. If you want to repeat it, great. If I continue to miss your repeated questions, please just pop them into the recorded comments. It's really, really helpful for me to be able to answer you so you don't feel like I've missed your question. Hi Karen, thanks for joining live. Hi Ava and Karen, thanks for joining live. Mar, yeah, there'll be new tapestry crochet projects as well. I need to finish Layers book first, and I've got a few other things on deck after that, but definitely we'll see more tapestry stuff in the future, absolutely. Probably not in the Layers books, but shortly after that you should see tapestry projects again. Thanks for your interest. Yeah, tapestry's fun, Christy, I agree. And I'm guessing Mar loves it too. How do you get the lace caught in thin snags? I'm guessing you mean how do you not get it caught? Being careful, just like when you're wearing anything delicate, you have to be careful. There are lots of fibers and lots of even store-bought lace and store-bought garments that you have to be careful with. I know for me, I am not very good with kimono robes around the house because those long cuffs on the sleeves, I get them caught on doorknobs and I go flying out of my robe. It's not pretty. I mean, I've fallen sometimes because of getting caught on stuff. Yeah, you definitely have to watch where you walk and not be trying to go too quickly, which are things that I am guilty of all the time. Looks like Ava's been sick. Sorry to hear that. Hope you're feeling better. Yeah, so regarding how do you not get your lace snagged on things, you just have to be careful. I think that there are certain types of jewelry that you wear with and without things that you think you're going to, that you could snag. Just like, you know, depending on how you wash things, there's perfume that you may or may not wear with different clothing too. Something that you plan on wearing more than once before you wash, I probably wouldn't wear a harsh perfume on it. I don't really wear perfume anyway. But there's all sorts of things that you put into consideration with putting a whole outfit together. And yes, things that you think are not going to play well together, Velcro is not friendly to yarn, but then it's not friendly to store-bought lace and store-bought delicate fabrics either. So you just have to be smart about stuff like that. Lisa, yeah, I love kimono sleeves too, Lisa. I love them, but they're very dangerous for me inside the house. Out of the house, not so much. I'm better, but in the house, oof, real dangerous for me. Okay, so I have some swatches I can show you. Maybe I'll do a fourth one too. But I wanted to show you, I've done all of these swatches with Be So Baby yarn. This is colored turquoise, and it's a DK weight yarn. And I've done the exact same swatch now this morning on 3 different size crochet hooks. So this is a G4 crochet hook. And we could do a skinnier one too. I might do a skinnier one as well. This is a J10 or 6mm crochet hook. Look at how incredibly different the size is on these. And then, wait for it, look at this. Let me just double check what size this is. This is only an 8mm. This is an L11 or 8mm crochet hook. Look at how vastly different. I'm gonna come closer because the looks like the, you know, hold it up against a book too. Look at how vastly different these 3 swatches are in size. But what the small one, this is a G hook, and I could go down and do a smaller one too. If there's time, I'll do a 4th one and do something smaller. But what I want you to see is not only the size difference, I want you to see how the stitches look different too. Sometimes the stitches are, well, the stitches are obviously tighter in the small and looser in the large, but sometimes you can see different textures in the stitches depending on what size you go with. You know, there's pluses and minuses to everything you do. And obviously, if you're going to be making a garment, size is an issue. So you want to stay on track with gauge. But what about when you're making a scarf or an afghan or something else where you really have lots of choices? And that's where this kind of decision making comes into play. Good morning, Edna. And so there's a couple of pluses and minuses, obviously. This one is going to be a lot more loose than this one, right? So what does that mean? Well, that means that it's going to be drapier, and it means it's probably going to use a little less yarn as well. But it also loses some of the stitch definition, but in a way, there is different stitch definition in the small one. So let's just look at the large to small real quick. There are things that I like better about this one, and there's things that I like better about this one. And it's a personal choice, and it's something that you may want. You may like one more than the other, or maybe you like the middle one. But when you're doing an afghan or something that doesn't need to be sized, it's really important to take the time to see what type of drape do you like better? What type of stitch definition do you like better? What size crochet hook feels more comfortable in your hand? These are all important questions to ask yourself to make sure that you're enjoying the process. You know, there's no point in doing any of this if you're not enjoying it, right? The color is called turquoise, Grace. This is turquoise in Be So Baby yarn. I'm going to show you the other color I have with me this morning is from my other swatching is peach. How cute are those together? I love the peach and turquoise together. Yes, and I'm wondering if what I thought is that maybe some of you didn't even realize how much contrast there really was with using the same yarn, the same stitch, and just changing your hook size, because that's not even a huge size difference. We went with 8mm, 6mm, and 4mm. Ava, I still have a sale on the sampler box, so if you're interested in the sampler box, it's still on sale right now. Good morning, Emalinda. Thanks for joining live. Does anybody have any questions about these? Or, you know, I'm going to keep going. Let's see, what size hook is this? Okay, this is a C2. So this will really give us a broad range of stitch definition, size, and drape. So I'll do one more swatch in the super tiny one. And you're going to see a big difference now. This will be really interesting. And then thanks to my book, I'll be able to hold them all up side by side. I couldn't do it without the book for some reason. I think I even crochet different when I use different size hooks. I know I use my eyes differently. Thanks, Ava. Even chain looks different. Just a simple chain looks different when you go down into a really small crochet hook. It looks more like a little dense rope. Okay, first round is done. On to the second and last one. I mean, look how tiny this is already. This is going to be so interesting. You're going to love this. This size crochet hook is one of the sizes that I love for making jewelry and things that I really want to be more dense. You know, there's times for loose and drapey, and there's times for density. You know, there's a time for all the different types of crochet projects, I think, and knitting. Just like sometimes I like to say there's a project for every yarn and a yarn for every project. There are just unlimited options out there. Oh, I can't wait to show you the difference. This is so cool. Sorry, I'm missing the comments now, but I'm concentrating. With the smaller hook, I can't crochet by touch as much as I can with the larger hook, so I have to concentrate on what I'm doing a little bit more. I'm on the end of the second round now, though. You're going to be amazed that this is the same yarn. I know I am. Okay, scissors, check. Look at this. This is the same stitches and the same yarn. Look at how tiny that is. It would make a great earring, wouldn't it? Especially if you put some beads in there. Oh, here comes the wind. Shoot. Okay, I'm going to line these up on my book here. All right, are you ready? Look at the size difference in these four. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I hope my fingers aren't covering them up too much. So we've got 2.5mm, 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. So now I'll do 1-to-1 side by side. So there's the 2.75mm, which is or 2.25mm. Was it a B or a C? This is 2.75mm. Yes, this is the sweet Clara top I'm wearing, Cindy. That's 2.75mm, and that's 4mm. So just a minute ago, you thought that the 4mm was the small one, and all of a sudden, it is not the small one anymore. Isn't that amazing? The stitches look differently as well. It's not just the size that changes, it's the way the stitches look as well. It's exactly the same stitches. Thanks, Jill. Okay, and then we'll... Ah, I lost one. The wind's blowing them around. Well, that's funny. I lost one of my hooks. How did I lose one? Well, that's crazy. Okay. Oh, there it is. It's a little way in the wind. I wasn't looking far enough away. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is show you that small one side by side with each of them. So I showed you the small one. This is the 2.75 millimeter next to the 4 millimeter. Oh, no, sorry. This is next to the 4 millimeter. And then here it is next to the 6 millimeter. And here it is next to the 8 millimeter. And again, even going with that huge contrast, let me grab my book again, I'm having a hard time. I don't think it's going to showing up as well if I don't put it on something. So even the huge contrast between 2.75 millimeter and 8 millimeter, there is no wrong way. They're both beautiful. They're just both really different. The way the stitches look is different. The way the chain looks is different. The density is different. The drape is different. And there's a project that is good for either one of them. There's no wrong way to do it. If you prefer this one, there's tons of things you can make with this one. If you prefer this one, there's tons of things you can make with that one. It doesn't matter. But it's good to know that you have so many choices, even within the same yarn and the same stitches and the same type of projects. You still have choices within gauge. So I thought that was really interesting to show. Does anybody have any questions about that? Hi, Migdalia. I hope I said your name right. Migdalia. Sherry's favorite hook is an H. Yeah, an H is really good. Nice middle of the road, 5 millimeter. That's a good one. Lots of things you can do with that size. I'm wearing the Sweet Clara top today. Back up again. This is the Sweet Clara top. I'm wearing it over a black tank top and black high-waisted jeans with my tank top tucked in for a real slim silhouette underneath and high contrast. Honestly, it looks pretty over matching colors underneath. It looks pretty over contrast colors underneath. It looks pretty over a dress. It looks pretty belted. It looks pretty worn loose like this. There's so many ways you can wear the Sweet Clara top. I could bring it back for a demo another day. Ava doesn't have a favorite hook. I don't think I do either. I like anything from skinny to real thick. Is there a big yarn usage difference between the sizes? Yes, Judy. Size, like if you're going to make, okay, let's go back to these two. The amount of yarn that you would need to make a square the same size. So if you wanted to make, with the 2.75 millimeter, if you wanted to make a project the same size, same finished size as the 8 millimeter, you're going to need to work several more rounds to get there, right? So think about it. Let's say this one is, let's say this is 3 inches square and this is 1 inch square. In order to make this one 3 inches square, you're going to probably need to do 2 or 3 more rounds. By the time you've done 2 or 3 more rounds to make this the same size as this, you will have used more yarn. That is correct. So theoretically, I'm sure that there are exceptions to the rule, but theoretically, going up in hook size will take less yarn too. Yeah, the bigger one has more drape too. The thinner one, the smaller hooks create a more dense fabric. That is correct. Doesn't mean they can't have drape, depending on the yarn and the stitches, but in general, this is going to be a lot more dense, and this one's going to be a lot more loose. And generally speaking, to make the same sized project, if you wanted both of these to be 12 inches square, this one is going to take more yarn than this one. But that's assuming you wanted to make the same finished size of something. Kristin has dog laying on her. That's cute. I like dogs. I like big dogs specifically. What fibers do I think have more drape? Natural fibers have more drape than synthetics in general, but you know, there's all sorts of tips and tricks in blocking and in gauge to create drape. But in general, I think natural fibers are easier to achieve drape. A loose drape, I'm guessing, is what you're saying. Drape is, I think, the description of any of them, but whether it's loose or tight. A golden retriever and a Great Dane. Oh boy, Ava, you sound stuck, but stuck in a good way. Hi, Melissa. Thanks for joining live. Any more questions about that? Lots of great questions this morning. I hope this has been helpful for everybody. Lydia loves big dogs too. Me too. I've had a couple of big dogs. Yeah, loose and flowy, you're going to find better. You're going to find more loose and flowiness either with open stitch work, natural fibers, and going larger in your hook and needle size. Those are 3 of the different ways that you can do that. You don't need all 3. You can use 1 or 2, but you know, it's all just a combination. Jane has a cockapoo. That sounds fun. I've never had a bird before. Oh, anybody that watched the what is it called? Create Zen with Kristin video that I posted last night. I did a fire pit sunset in my backyard, and a couple of weird things happened in case you weren't aware. In the beginning there was a weird animal noise, and I didn't really figure it out. And I don't know if it was a little more than halfway through, there's a point where I go, ugh, and it's because a mouse, a rat, I don't know the difference, walking along the fence outside of my, along the perimeter of the yard, and I was a little freaked out, and then I wondered, what in the world were those noises now? But then if you get to the end of the video, there is, so I don't know if that was fighting rats, fighting mice, or what. I don't know how scared I should be about that. But at the end of the video, if you get a chance to go back, if you didn't watch the end, one of the most beautiful bird songs I've ever heard in my life is in the last 5 minutes of last night's video. So if you're interested, the noises that these birds made, I can't even describe it. It was so incredibly beautiful. So if the first part freaks you out, which it did me a little bit, skip past it. Watch the end of the video. The birds are just magical. I can't even describe, I don't know how many birds there were. If any of you are bird experts and would like to tell me what kind of birds they were, I'd love to hear it. But there are multiple songs going on, and some of them are like brrr, and other ones are like songs. It's just gorgeous, and I wished I could have sat there all night, but I had to get back to other work. Someone did hear it. Yeah, they were definitely singing to me. Yes. Sherry liked it, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're palm rats, Pamela. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, which the snakes eat, so I'm not sure. And it's about to get warm, and I have a feeling my yard's going to get pretty jungly. And I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest with you, but I'll worry about that when it gets here. The birds were amazing, though, so... yeah, the birds definitely pay attention to the kitties, and the kitties definitely pay attention to the birds. And they were very interested in that rat/mouse that walked across the fence last night. They just sat there and stared at it, but they're so sweet. Yeah, the birds sing to them a lot. Yeah, thank goodness for screens. There's no way I would have sat out there without a screen at night. No way. Yeah, but if you get a chance, the bird song at the end is amazing. Yep, we have palmetto bugs too, Ava. We have lizards, snakes, palmetto bugs, spiders, mosquitoes, no-see-ums. What else? I got bit here this morning. Was it this morning? Maybe the last time I did a sunset video, I got bit up on my ankles pretty bad. I've got to remember to make my bug repellent, and I'll share the recipe with you guys when I do. Yeah, you'll see my face. At one point I go, ooh, I think this is gross when I saw it. Oh, you know what, Maria? The yarn was not too close to the fire. It just looked like it from that angle. I touched it a couple of times to make sure it was perfectly fine. Sometimes I put my feet up there and it doesn't burn my feet either. Sherry saw my face. Yeah, so if you go back, it's possible that like 5 seconds before I make the funny face, you might see that animal walking along the top of the fence. It's possible. Lisa likes the fireplace. Yeah, that's the one that's in my Amazon shop. So if anybody else wants to get it for their house, you can order it in my Amazon shop. It was so easy to put together, and if you have someone else to put it together for you, even better. But it was possible to put it together, so if I can do it, you can do it too. And it's just been hours and hours of enjoyment already, and I've only had it a short while, so could not love it more so far. All right, well, we are almost out of time. Actually, we've gone over a little bit, so let's take this last minute here to look out on our magnificent view. Soak in the colors, the textures, the sounds of the waves, and set our intentions for the day. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the sound of the waves, my tutorial, chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today.